silent salute. Oh, trouble! 17 cars pile up in the big one.
Well, we have officially crowned a Daytona 500 champion here in Mobile One Victory Lane. I am Alex Weaver, joined by Kyle Petty. Welcome to NASCAR Inside the Race for the 2026 season. Kyle, we gave a little preview of what we thought this race would have in store for us. But as we have officially now crowned Tyler Reddick, the Daytona 500 champion here in Victory Lane, it didn't disappoint.
No, listen, I've been coming to Daytona for the Daytona 500 for 64 years. I have never been disappointed.
You have me
never been disappointed. It always delivers something. There's something during the day that you walk away from here saying, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like that. And that last lap and the moves that Tyler Reddick made, coming through 3 and 4 to the outside, to the inside, no matter what was happening, it is one we're going to be talking about for a long time. And he is truly a champion. You're not a Daytona 500 winner. We talk about it all the time. You're a champion.
It is one of those wins, if not the most important win, that is forever etched in your history book, in your resume. You were introduced now as a Daytona 500 champion, as KP mentioned. But let's break down the last lap, because you mentioned the insanity. But we had some different manufacturers working together. But as Kyle and I know, every man for themselves on lap 200. Who cares?
Yeah, listen, nobody knows what kind of car they're in when you get to the end of the race. And this last lap basically showed it. When we saw Chase Elliott in a Chevy, when we saw the 34 car there, when we saw there's so many things going on this lap. They didn't throw a caution, and I applaud NASCAR for not throwing a caution here, because we are racing back to the flag. And you see right there's Stenhouse, there's Elliott. And there on the inside is that 45 car of Tyler Reddick. His teammate comes up behind him. Now we've got a Chevy and a Ford, and we've got 2 Toyotas coming. And they've got some momentum. But right there, they get separated a little bit. And now it's Tyler Reddick. It's 3 manufacturers on their own, head-to-head, nobody helping, nobody pushing. Tyler sucks up. He moves to the outside.
Crazy run right there with the 45.
Crazy run. And right here, he hangs out, and then he cuts back. And that's it. And I'm telling you what, that is just great driving, great use of the aero package, and making something happen for yourself. Nobody helped him once he got to turn 3.
So the interesting part to me, KP, is watching that. We have seen at these super speedways that tandem style with this next-gen car has been so successful for drivers. But when you get a push like Tyler Reddick had, I mean, the 9 and the 38 of Zane Smith, Chase Elliott, too far out?
And that's a great question. I think, yes, maybe. But they weren't hooked up. They were not hooked up either. They did not get hooked up the way they were, but they had that momentum that they got off. So really the race win came in the move off of turn 2 over there. As we saw, Riley Herbst, push the 45 and get that momentum. And he had the momentum. He had the energy going down the backstretch. He makes the move to the outside. He makes the move to the inside. This is when it could have all gone to heck in a handbasket right here.
Well, it could have all gone to heck in a handbasket. We were riding around 30 laps, 3 wide.
Yeah, exactly.
At what point were we going to wreck?
Listen, there were a million opportunities for these guys to take each other out. Tyler Reddick was in an accident on the 5th lap of the race, and he comes back and wins the race. But this move right here is just phenomenal. And you see Riley Herbst, he thinks he can go the outside, but Brad Kay has already filled the hole there and wipes out the rest of the field. But when you look at that, that's situational awareness. That's knowing where you're at on the racetrack. That's a great spotter. Letting him know where things are. And that's desire. That is a lot desire.
Tyler Reddick's first Daytona 500 win, but we obviously, every single time that a driver wins this, it doesn't really matter how many times you win it. The emotions kick in. Immediately, Tyler Reddick was very emotional inside of the race car. I would be too if I just won the Daytona 500.
Listen, I was fortunate enough up in the 1949 club, 48 club, up in for NASCAR to do an interview with Kurt Busch this morning. Kurt Busch walked me through the last lap of the Daytona 500 that he won and told me everything that went on. Tyler Reddick will be able to do that too in another 10 or 15 years, just like Kurt Busch, because it is such a special memory. It is burned into your soul. If you can have that memory and have that joy and have that excitement forever and ever. And we see these guys, they get so jaded to win in cup races, and I hate that. I absolutely hate to see a guy win a race and not be emotional because it's so big. Tyler Reddick was emotional, and that was a huge moment for him personally, huge moment for 2311. But just a great way to start the Cup season this year.
We are hopefully going to have our Daytona 500 champion join us here, and he's going to break down everything. I'm sure hopefully still be emotional. It doesn't quite set in for these guys until tomorrow morning when they're putting their hands in the cement and celebrating with the champions breakfast. But let's talk about the atmosphere at this place today. When I say this is my 9th Daytona 500 that I've covered, I don't know if I've felt it as electric and the energy as high as it was today. It took me an hour and a half to get from Speedway Boulevard through the tunnel.
Okay, and I'm going to say something. This was the 25th anniversary of NASCAR and the loss of Dale Earnhardt Sr. But the crowd here and the atmosphere was reminiscent of 25 years ago. It was. The parking lots were full. The infield was full. The grandstands were full. There was a line at the concession stand, a line at the bathroom. It didn't make any difference. There were lines everywhere. And that's the way that Daytona always was. That's the way Daytona is supposed to be. And that's the way when you win a race at Daytona, you're supposed to react, like Tyler Reddick. And I think the fans enjoyed it. When we saw Tyler, when he wins the race and backs up and gets out on pit road and on top of the car and stands up, the crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
The crowd went crazy, man. You'd think Elvis had come out for an encore. You know what I mean? It was just huge. So that's the way it's supposed to be. And I love the atmosphere here this week.
We also love when the fans get a finish at Daytona like that. It just makes it all worth it to come and see that type of finish.
Listen, it makes everything worth it. And it brings these people to Echo Park Speedway next week. It brings people to COTA. It brings people to come out to Vegas and Phoenix and all the other racetracks because they want to see this type of racing. They want to see what NASCAR is all about. They want to see Tyler Reddick start off the year like this and carry that momentum. And I think when you look at the sport, we couldn't have started with a better race on a better day and had a better winner than Tyler Reddick.
Amazing that Tyler Reddick, I don't know if folks picked up on this or not, and I had one of our producers, Matt Strickert, give me this little factoid. The last time that Tyler Reddick won was a last lap pass at Ryan Blaney at Homestead Miami Speedway to lock into the championship for 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a long time
coming,
time. And then you win the biggest race of your career, of our sport, of the year. I mean, no better way to do it than a last lap pass of the Daytona 500.
Yeah, but let's be honest. In 20 years, when you look at the record book, it's not going to say Tyler Reddick, Daytona 500 champion, 2026, last lap pass.
Yeah.
It's not going to say. It's going to say winner.
Yeah.
It's going to be a W. That's what it's all about. And that's what's so amazing about Cup racing. We saw so many lead changes today. We saw so many guys running 3 wide, 4 wide sometimes down the straightaways. It was just fascinating to watch what went on the racetrack and watch the fans' reaction to everything.
KP, what do you make of these drivers? And I feel like we say this every single year about the talent level, but when you're able to go 35 laps, 3 wide, in the draft, 200 miles an hour on the high banks of Daytona, I mean, how did we not wreck in the final stage?
I can't imagine. It was not that way in my day. It was not that way as we entered into the 2000s and the 2010s. It was really not. These guys, their mental fortitude, their mental focus, their desire to run up front, their desire to win, their desire to be there at the end of the race. There's so much that goes into it. You can run Daytona, and you're not physically beat. You're just not. But emotionally, when you win, mentally, or emotionally when you lose, mentally, when you run the day, you are beat for a week. It is just absolutely draining.
Well, I always love when I have KP on the show because as we're watching the trophy shots with Michael Jordan, who is, I mean, the GOAT is a Daytona 500 champion. It doesn't get any cooler than that, folks. It's his birthday. We're celebrating in Victory Lane. But, KP, let's get your hot take. What's your hot take for this weekend?
So here's my hot take for this weekend. My hot take is manufacturers. That's all we heard when they dropped the green flag at the Daytona 500.
We never hear.
Yeah, the manufacturers are always going to be together. They're going to stick together. And we saw it during the day. We saw the Fords pit at the same time. We saw the Chevys. We saw everybody pit, the Toyotas. And then that last pit stop, we saw a chink in the armor, people. We saw that chink where the Chevy guys, some of them pitted with the Fords, some of the Fords pitted with the Toyotas, some of the Toyotas pitted with the Fords and the Chevys. And when it came down to the last lap, it's every man for himself. They don't know whether you got a bow tie or that little Toyota thing or that blue oval. It makes no difference. It makes no difference. It's every man for himself to win the Daytona 500. And we can talk manufacturers. We can talk all we want to. but it's all about every man for himself.
Were you surprised in the money stop by who came, who didn't, where they paired up? That surprised me.
I was, and listening to the broadcast, I was surprised because I really believed what Kevin and Clint said. I thought it had broken up the whole pack.
Yeah, it did.
But it broke them up just enough that when they all got back together right before the caution, as they were coming back together, it allowed so much energy in that pack that we were going to have a caution. And that's basically what it did by being broken up. It allowed that energy to come from the outside, from the inside. Guys were having to weave in and out. And it changed the race. It changed the race watching the way guys came to pit road.
Well, we do have some weather moving in the area, but KP and I are going to keep you going until they tell us we can't any longer. So I also want to just look at 2311 Racing and what this will do for this organization, as Tyler Reddick will obviously be the Daytona 500 champion, but it will forever be 2311 that won the 2026 Daytona 500.
It will. And Denny Hamlin as a winning owner.
Yeah.
And that is huge. That is huge in this sport, to have a guy who is a winning driver and a winning owner now. He moves himself to another column. And you look at that. And I think we look at what 2311 did last year, and they struggled last year. You know, Tyler struggled. We saw Bubba have some bright moments and do some great things, but the consistency wasn't there. And I think that's what these guys need this year, is that consistency. They started off winning races. Are they going to consistently win races this year? And that's going to be the telltale sign of where 2311 is. I think they're poised. I think they're in the right place. Their mindset is obviously in the right place after coming off of this win and everything that's gone on in the offseason. But as I look at heading into this year, I'm telling you, it's still going to be tough to go head-to-head with a Hendrick. It's still going to be tough to go head-to-head with a Penske or with a Gibbs. But these guys are positioning themselves to take advantage when the others falter.
Yeah, in our group text, we were talking about where does this put 2311 in the stratosphere. Difficult to say that right now.
It is. It's very difficult because Joe Gibbs is the Toyota team. These guys get their stuff from Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And as long as you get your stuff from another team, you're not the number one team. I don't care if you win the Daytona 500. I don't care if you go win the championship. Gibbs is still the number one team, just like Penske is the number one Ford team, and Rick and Hendrick Motorsports is the number one Chevy team. To displace those guys, it doesn't happen in one race, people. It's not going to happen in one race. It's going to take time to move into that position. Understanding the whole time that the stuff that you're getting is from your competitor and from the number one team. So they can put themselves in position, and that's what you have to do. You have to be able to take advantage when the Penske cars aren't on, when the Gibbs cars aren't on, and when the Hendrick car, and they showed that they can.
Well, we're not only starting to get some raindrops here at Daytona International Speedway, we also have champagne showers. They're celebrating in Victory Lane right behind us here. KP, let's get your weekend winners from Daytona this weekend.
Man, so many, for me, there were a lot of winners.
Yeah.
And listen, I know we saw Connor Zilic and Corey Heim. We saw a lot of those guys. So many people that made little mistakes, and got themselves in trouble. Rookie drivers. At the same time, they were running up front. They were making something happen. So the future of the sport is bright. That's my winners, right? One of my winners right there. When I look at 2311, they've got to be a winner. You've got to look at what they did. You got to look at Riley Herbst, the way he ran today. You've got to look at that team. And I'm going to look at RFK. We didn't bring them into the mix.
Nice, I like it.
But we bring RFK into the mix as a winner. But the biggest winner, I don't care what you say, the biggest winner is everybody that bought a ticket and sat in the grandstands.
100%.
Because they were here. You talked about the atmosphere. They were here to experience the atmosphere.
My weekend winners, it's easy for me to pick Tyler Reddick, but I'm going to go with the whole Reddick family.
Yeah.
Coming off of 2025, a difficult season for the team, for the organization, for the family as well. We had Rook, who is his youngest son, who was dealing with so many health issues, was in the hospital for a very long time. So to turn the page over to that and now be a Daytona 500 champion family is just so nice for me. But then also, I'm going to let my weekend winner be Kyle Busch as well.
Oh, yeah.
That poor guy. I want him to win a Daytona 500 so bad. But you know what? He got the pole, and that counts for me.
Listen, that's huge kudos. Huge kudos to Kyle Busch. Huge kudos to Richard Childress Racing. Great runs in the O'Reilly series. I almost went to Xfinity there, but the O'Reilly series, great runs there. But I think as we look at it, we've had to move a little bit. They're moving the car out of Victory Lane here. Congratulations, guys.
Nothing like live sports.
Yeah, it's great, man. Hey, you got any champagne? No, never mind. No, I got a Busch beer. That's all right. So it is just when you look at the way this week went and everything. Listen, I'm sidetracked on the car
I know.
right here.
The car just came right by us.
Yes, it did.
It's a winning car. It's covered in confetti. I mean, it's just one of the coolest things about this place when you're in Victory Lane.
And they take this car. Do they still take this car to Daytona
museum.
USA
They do.
with the confetti on
Yep.
it, just like it is, and it's going to sit there. And that is what's cool for fans when they come to Daytona during the winter. And they're able to come and they're able to do things, man. You're able to walk in and see the car that Tyler Reddick did the burnout. You're able to see the champagne on the car, see the confetti on the car. It's cool.
I wish you guys could also see what we're seeing, because there is 3 bottles of champagne, 4 beer cans. There's about 6 crew guys that are pushing this car out of Victory Lane. So it's always a really cool sight to see. Those guys, they will remember that die-cast in that car forever, as Tyler Reddick wins the 68th running of the Daytona 500. We're watching him now take pictures with Denny Hamlin, his crew chief, Billy Scott. They have their Daytona 500 ring on.
Wow.
This is our Masters. This is a green jacket.
Yeah.
You get a Daytona 500 ring. They keep it their whole entire lives. Our guys will show up in different events with this ring on. You also get one of the coolest trophies in all of sports.
Yeah, the Harley J. Earl Trophy. That is cool.
And your name, there is a reason why this is just such a huge deal in our sport, because that trophy right there, everybody wants their name on it. And you come back year after year, and you're just introduced every single year with that ring as a Daytona 500 champion.
With that ring as a Daytona, and you're exactly right. And you know, we spoke of it a minute ago. There's Denny Hamlin with his 4th Daytona ring, his 4th Daytona winner's ring, but that one is an owner's ring.
It's and fingers on one.
That's crazy. And you know, they put themselves on the list. 2311 puts themselves on the list with Hendrick Motorsports, with Joe Gibbs Racing, with Penske Racing, with Petty Enterprises, with Junior Johnson Racing, with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, with all the people who have come to Daytona as owners and won this race. They put themselves on that list, and that is a big moment. Tyler Reddick puts his name on the list. He puts his name on the list with Richard Petty, with Dale Earnhardt Sr., with Lee Petty, with David Pearson, with all the greats that ever sat in a car. His name goes on that list, and he has the same trophy they have, the Harley J. Earl Trophy.
KP, can I give credit to our crew right here?
They did a great job.
They just, the fans don't get to witness this. Our crew just moved about 6 cameras, 2 different lights, let the car pull out. We had all of our equipment down. KP and I were just walking you through it, and then they moved everything right back. So this is
it's phenomenal.
This is what we do here.
What a great pit crew! They got us
like
got us on and off pit road in record time. That was great.
Loved it. Well, I think we are still waiting on Tyler Reddick to join us here. So let's also talk through some of the big ones that we saw. There was a major big one here at Daytona. We got an early wreck that happened. What did you make of those instances? And I want to start with the biggest one that we saw that took out a number of cars. And there was a number of cars involved in this one, and what we're going to refer to as the big one. There were a number of cars involved that really took out only 3 or 4 or 4 or 5, but it damaged a lot of guys. It damaged a lot of guys that were contenders and had a shot. And you see it right here. It's just a bad angle and a bad push. There's a little bit of a checkup. Somebody gets in the back of Denny. Denny gets in the back of the 40 car of Justin Allgaier as we get right there to this part of it, and it just takes everybody off. And I think as we come through the tri-oval there, and you're looking at some of this stuff, it's almost like and I like to refer to it as a sucker hole. If you see it from the in-car camera, you think there's a hole there, and there's not a hole. No.
And you go ahead and fill it. It was a little bit aggressive on Denny's part, trying to fill the hole, but at the same time, Justin left it open. Justin left the door open. It was going to close as soon as he came out, but you see so many of these guys that got caught into this accident.
And I don't want to blame it on anybody, because it was typically a super speedway racing deal. But when you look at a guy like Justin Allgaier leading up front and Denny, who is so phenomenal and so good at super speedway racing, was it just too much for Justin Allgaier to hang on to?
And that's a great question, because Justin is a champion.
He is.
Okay, so let's be real
great
clear.
Race car driver.
Great race car driver. And for me, I looked at it, and I looked at it twofold. Honestly, I looked at it that Justin cracked the door, and he left it there. And he just opened it enough that Denny really felt at that time he could get through there. I put a little bit of it on Denny. because at that point in time in the race, I felt like that was an aggressive move by Denny Hamlin to
It was.
try to go to the
It was.
outside at that point in time in the race. There was just no need in it. He could sit there. He could bide his time. He got a good run. You see the door open, but boom, the door is going to close once you get to the start-finish line, because even if Justin doesn't go up, the wall comes down. That's just the way it is where he's at on the racetrack. And the bad part is you've got two guys fighting for one place on the racetrack, and then you've got 15 cars that are involved in it. And that's always going to happen at a Daytona and Talladega. You see Justin right there, but the wall is coming down as he's going up. It's a crazy part of the racetrack, and it's hard to explain if you haven't sat in a car and understand where the wall comes out and how the wall works. But it was just one of those things, and you just said, in the words of Richard Petty, one of those racing deals. It's going to happen if you're running for a win.
And a lot of instances, I feel like this weekend have been in that same spot of the racetrack. It's one of those spots that just causes a lot of chaos.
We talk about it all the time, and Kurt Busch talked about it this morning a little bit. It is a place where the race car gets real light. There's not a lot of banking. There's not a lot to hold you to the racetrack, and you're turning to the left, and the car gets light, and it just dances a little bit. And it doesn't make any difference what I'm talking about, because Tyler Reddick just woke up and showed us his ring.
All right.
That's awesome, dude. Sit down.
We have the
Sit
champ
down.
here.
Sit down, man. How about that ring?
How about that ring?
Unreal. Have you seen your last lap move?
No,
Okay,
yeah,
first,
wait a minute.
I want to do it first.
Yes,
we are
do it.
now bringing on to the show NASCAR Inside the Race has your official 2026 Daytona 500 champion, Tyler Reddick.
Champion.
How's that sound, bud?
I mean, as a kid growing up, all I wanted to do was race a Cup car.
Yeah.
And I dreamed of having the opportunity to race in the Daytona 500.
You're already hoarse. That's how I know he's already.
No, I lost my voice in the car screaming and crying because so bad I've just wanted to finish this race.
Yeah.
And for years I couldn't, up until last year. And to run second, that stung, but this year, man.
Okay, KP, you're
just walk us through that. Walk us through it, because we've been sitting here talking about it. The emotional aspect of this race, the emotion that it brings when you cross that finish line for the last time and you're the first car across that line. Just talk me through the emotions.
I mean, everything, it's like my life flashes before me.
Yeah.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've done, every sacrifice, every dumb thing I did as a kid growing up, all the things that you do that have gotten you to this point, it all kind of hits you at once.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I mean, yes, I'm a Cup driver, but I just won the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that you dream of doing. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, you got this insane run. You went the typical fashion of, like, move down low to take the high side. We're in the middle starting here. So is this the first time you've seen this playback?
Correct.
Okay.
It is.
Break it down for us of what you're seeing live.
Yeah, I mean, in the moment, I'm thinking, okay, any second the caution's coming. And then right about here when I lose my momentum, I realize no caution's coming. Oh, crap, what do I do? And, we were 3 wide, and thankfully my teammate Riley Herbst was there. He gave me a really good shove, and it was enough to get clear of the 22 and the 47. So I kind of tucked back in line. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to get third here. But I don't know what it was. There was something maybe about how the 38 was off the 9. Just the amount of momentum I continue to have here was just insane. And then from here, Riley's giving me a good push, and then I dive the inside of the 9, and then they get together, and the rest is kind of history. So I didn't know, someone else got in the mix there and kind of caused that. But in my seat, it was like, in that moment, I got to do what Denny does.
Yeah.
No, I got to keep the momentum
you teed
going.
us up perfectly. Speaking of what Denny does, both of you need to have a stash the next time I see you at a racetrack in Atlanta because your owner is just repping it.
We both have red facial.
I could get rid of all this, and it would be right there.
I've just got a little more just for men in mine.
The way you just talked us through that was so incredibly calm. I was screaming when I tried to talk us through it the first time because it was incredible. It was incredible. I tell people all the time, the worst place to watch a race is in the seat, because you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you don't see what you do. When you see it for the first time, that was incredible.
Well, it looked a lot more chaotic on TV.
It was
felt
very
in the driver's
chaotic
seat.
in person.
Like in the moment, I'm sitting there before we have that last screen, before we fired off for the last time, and the emotions already in that moment are hitting me. It's like, man, I've been dying for an opportunity like this my entire Cup career to be in this position. Just here with 5 or 6 laps to go, firing back off, just everything that happened here between that point and the start-finish line is just a lot happens.
A
We're
lot happened.
joined
But
by
in the moment in the car,
Denny, have you seen this?
yeah, we're joined now by Denny Hamlin, the team
I
owner
saw
of
it
2311.
From this point forward.
From this point forward.
I didn't see what happened there in turn 1.
Yeah.
Denny, where were you right now? Were you still on pit road?
I was
Have
on
you-
the other side of the racetrack.
Okay, got it.
limping
Got
my
it.
car home.
Got
I
it.
Yeah.
like a dog coming home.
Did
but-
you know what was happening? Was
No,
anybody-
I
okay.
couldn't
the
see it.
38 fanning up a little bit there just kind of kept
So
my
even
momentum
here,
going.
when I watched it, I was trying to figure out into turn 3. I said, well, how did he actually get the run to get the 9?
Yeah, I think it was a 38.
But, it timed things perfect. And Chase knew he was in a spot where there was
Yeah.
no block that was really going to
Yeah.
work with such a speed disparity. But, Riley pushed the 45. He kept that run going. One thing I always preach to these guys is that once you get the run, you got to find a way to just keep
Yeah.
it going, keep it going. Even if you're slowing others down, that's keeping your run going. And so he just did a fantastic
I want to ask you, there's only been 44 guys that have won the Daytona 500 in all the years that they've run here since '59, 44 guys. But I'm going to ask, this is for Denny. There's been fewer owners that have won. And now you got an owner's ring, dude. That's with
Owner and driver.
Petty Enterprise, Junior Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. I mean, you enter a list as an owner that's rare air. That's really rare air. What does that mean to you as an owner to have that ring?
Yeah, as an owner, we do all the things that happen before the car hits the racetrack, right? Like when we come into the race weekend, it's up to him at this point, right? And we've prepared as much as we can. We give them, our drivers, all the information that we can and all the tools to do the best of their ability. But it's just a tremendous amount of work that people don't know. And it's not just writing checks. It is being part of every department, recruiting new people into the place, getting sponsors, all that stuff that just is I took for granted that it's much harder than I thought it was going to be. But I also had the ability to give these guys some knowledge that I've been doing this for 21 years, and anything that I can do to give them a little bit of a leg up, and teach them, hey, this is a mistake I made. Don't do that. Like, I feel like it gives our team an advantage, being that I'm still driving. And when he complains about something on Monday, I can relate because I was on the racetrack too. So I know where to dedicate the resources to go fix it.
Denny's being very humble. One of the best super speedway racers. So
one of the best
Tyler,
ever.
if you have to listen to anybody, listen to your owner, Denny Hamlin.
But I'm going to say that's a great point, because Rick can't give his guys that. Gibbs can't give his guys that. Penske doesn't. When we go back in time to those old school owners, which you've been around a long time, you're an old school guy now. When you go back to a Junior Johnson, he could. When you went back to the Wood brothers and Glenn Wood, he could. He could tell a driver what he expected. When you go back to Petty Enterprises, my dad could tell a driver what he was looking. So that's an invaluable asset that you have. How important is it to sit down with him during the course of the week?
The amount of places he's been able to help me improve, and just sometimes these tracks you go to, it's just a little something, like Richmond. Just being able to.
That was eye-opening, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm terrible at Richmond. And then I started driving for 2311 and started talking to Denny. I got a lot better there. But just anytime, even like today, talking about just some of the conditions that we were facing in the race, anytime I'm able to talk to my boss, who I'm also going to race with, it's invaluable. And I try to do the best that I can to not waste his time and make sure that, what I ask him is going to be meaningful. But having that is just invaluable, honestly.
And I want to speak for the whole entire community here. We've been thinking about both of you, and I know that 2025 was
so
just
many prayers.
An insufferable season that you guys had for both and different reasons. But before we close here, what does this win mean for you both and for this organization?
Go ahead.
It's a career-defining moment for me, and I think for this team in 2311, we've set out to challenge the teams that are established at the top, and winning Daytona 500s is a part of that, being Daytona 500 champions. And, for me personally, I went through a lot with my son at the tail end of last year.
Yeah.
Not winning a race last year for the first time in many years was a lot to swallow. And to be able to come out of the gates like this and win the biggest race that we have all year long means a lot for me personally.
About 4 years now, I got in his ear and said, I need to talk to you.
The announcement that was heard
I need-
around the world. Yeah.
I need you. I need you over here at 2311. To me, watching that last lap is like, yes, that's what I saw in him years and years and years ago, right? I knew that his ceiling was so high. And, man, he's won races for us, won some big ones for us, won the regular season championship just 2 years ago, went to the Final Four. To me, it's a gratification that we picked the right guy, and he's making us proud.
I'm going to say one thing, I said it when we started. I've been coming to the Daytona 500 for 64 years. I've never missed a Daytona 500. And I've left here a lot of times mad at who won, but I am ecstatic for you guys.
Yeah.
I am. This is a happy moment for us, for me, but it should be for the sport too. So congratulations to both of you guys. It's a great story and a great way to start the 2026 season.
We can't get my friend Tyler Reddick crying in a race car too often, because that about made me tear up here to go to work. So congratulations, Denny. Congratulations, Tyler. You guys are Daytona 500 champions. We hope you enjoyed our speed weeks. That does it for us here in Daytona. We have officially crowned a champion, and we'll head to Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. Echo Park is coming on deck. Tyler Reddick, your 2026 Daytona 500 champ.